What if I told you you could have this boat free? You just have to come get it.
Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to MotorCity Boat Works. Let's get to work. Welcome back to the show. This week I'm on the road. I've traveled about an hour from the Boat Works. I've come all the way to Flint, Michigan to take a look at one of the boats on my bucket list. This episode is going to be something a little bit different than I've done before. We're going to tour the inside of this boat and talk about it a little bit, but there's a larger story and a larger lesson that I want to cover. And it's all about the dream of boat restoration. What's the reality? What's it really like? And what happens when things don't quite work out the way you planned? This episode is about a 1973 Nauticat 33 ketch motorsailer. I hope you stick with me. I just want to remind everyone that MotorCity Boat Works has no sponsors. I get no compensation when I film these boats. I have no financial interests in their sale, and I receive no compensation. Where do I start? A couple weeks ago, I received an email from a lady who told me she had a Pilothouse ketch sailboat that she wanted to give away free. When I saw the photographs, I recognized this boat. About 3 years ago, I had gone to look at it. I almost fell through the deck while I was examining it. It was in rough shape. Although I passed on this boat, once I started my YouTube channel, I thought about it many times over the last couple of years. I wondered if I would ever have a chance to interview the owners about their boat project, about what happened, and the story of this boat named Tortuga. I'm here today again to take a look at this boat. This boat has been on my mind for the past couple of years, and I'm here to talk to the owner. He's agreed to do an interview, and I thought we would have a conversation about your boat. So who are you?
Joe.
You're also a Joe.
I'm also Joe.
Yeah.
And I bought this boat up from Florida thinking to restore it, but I never got to it.
How long have you owned the boat?
About 10 years.
10 years.
Oh.
The last time you and I met was probably a couple years ago,
Okay.
and I came to look at the boat.
Yes.
It had been advertised, and the price had dropped down to, I think, to $1,000. And
Yes.
I came to look at it because I was always interested in this kind of boat. What kind of boat is it? Okay.
1973, double end ketch,
Right.
Pilothouse.
They're known as Nauticat 33s.
If you're not familiar with this boat, the Nauticat 33 was made by a Finnish company called Siltala Yachts. There are about 1,100 of these boats. They were made from 1966 to 1997. These boats command a hefty price. They have a seaworthy reputation. You'll find them all over the world. And they have a strong owner's following. They're always in demand.
You lived aboard the boat
We
for a
lived
period of time.
in Florida. Yeah, we lived on the boat in Florida, and we were restoring it down there.
While you
And
lived on it.
while we lived on it,
Yeah.
which isn't very good. And
You
I
said
was
you-
a truck driver besides, so I only had weekends to work on it.
And you lived on it for about what, year and a
About
half?
a year and a half. I didn't want to part with it.
Yeah.
I was going to fix it up here, but then we got up here and I was working even more. And so now I'm 72. And last year I figured I'm not going to be doing this. So.
What was, you can see the boat right now. I'll show some pictures of it. But what was it that needed to be done to the boat back when you had it?
The deck had to be redone.
Right.
We
These
lived
boats
on
came
it.
with a teak deck.
A teak deck.
Right.
And they had plywood over the teak deck.
Previous owners put that on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that they screwed through everything there, and so all the water intrusion got into the deck. And
Right.
I started taking a little bit of it off to fix it,
Right.
and it turned into be the whole deck.
The whole
So,
deck.
yeah,
A way bigger project.
a way bigger project.
And what happened at that point? You kind of lost your momentum, or a combination of work couldn't get to
No,
it?
it was, how do you begin? Okay, so I looked up on YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know? So I looked up there what I had to do, and I got it stripped off. The whole bow part is just open now. There's no deck there. I had some boards that I cut to put on there. And then I guess her parents got sick, and she moved up here. And my work down there just fell apart. So I transferred back up here. And like I say, just work got too much. And
what was the original plan for the boat? What were you going to use it for?
take it on the Great Loop was
You were going to
my
do the
big
Great Loop.
thing. Yeah. Not to mention just, I mean, Florida's got a lot of places
Yeah.
to sail to.
And now, over the years, I think when you and I last met and I came to look at the boat, I could tell you were not at the point emotionally or kind of ready to let go of the boat.
Correct.
And
I really like this boat.
yeah, do you?
I still do.
You still do, right?
But no, I realize that I'm not going to work on it.
Yeah. What do you want to happen to this boat? What's the plan?
I want it out of here.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it away.
Yeah.
Even
So you're
though-
willing to give the boat away free to somebody who will come get it.
All they have to do is come and get it.
And they get the
Everything
boat,
goes with it.
They get the boat, they get the engine, they get everything that's inside of it, the mast, the sails, all the stuff that's
yep,
inside of it.
Everything.
The stands, everything that goes with it.
Yep.
You'll let them have it.
Yep.
It has an engine inside of it.
It's got a 75 horse Yanmar
Yanmar inside that was installed by
turbo.
the previous owners in 2010.
Correct.
Professionally installed.
Yep.
Yeah. You were telling me that it has a full complement of sails for
Yep.
and all the rigging
And
is
some
there.
extra and all the rigging.
New roller furler, new
roller
head sail.
furler, new
Yeah.
head sail. The other sails are in real good shape.
Yeah. When you owned the boat, you and your wife lived aboard it. Did you sail it? Did you cruise with it?
We sailed it a little bit.
And
Just around Titusville.
around Titusville in Florida, right?
Yep.
Florida area.
Yep.
It's this is something that a lot of people, you and I were talking privately before. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about. They don't talk about mistakes or
Bad investment.
getting in over your head
Yeah.
or how life changes
Right,
and you
right.
get older and suddenly you can't do the things you thought you used to do.
I can do
or
anything I want.
Yeah.
I just choose not to do
the
that
motivation
now.
kind of goes someplace
It
else,
is.
right?
It's gone.
Right,
Yeah, for
yeah.
that.
For that, yeah. You'd rather do something else with your time.
Right.
If you're thinking about restoring a classic sailboat or an old trawler, check out all of the videos on my YouTube channel. Consider joining the workers or taking advantage of my boat restoration consulting services. I offer personal coaching for your boat restoration project. Be sure to like and subscribe. This channel would not be possible without your support. Thank you.
Right, no,
sell.
you don't want to
No,
piece
no.
it out, but you want
Right,
somebody,
right.
they'll take it away.
And I
they'll do
know
their thing.
there's money in piecing it out.
Yeah.
But
Your hope is what? That somebody restores it.
will take it
Yeah.
and make it a good boat.
What was your favorite thing about this boat?
The Pilothouse, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Pilothouse.
Yeah.
And the full keel. I
Yeah.
mean, you can run it aground and
Yeah.
hit stuff or if it happens.
When you and I talked the last time I was here looking at it, I had told you that I thought, the Pilothouse was a very big job to
Yeah,
restore,
oh,
and the decks
The deck is
were
the
just the biggest
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and because you really can't even walk up there. Man, the hull's in good shape.
Yes, it is. Very thick and strong.
You have any idea how thick it is?
He had a hole drilled in it and he took the core. It was about yay thick.
There are probably only a handful of people who would dare undertake a project of this scale. I certainly wouldn't recommend it to any sort of newbie. It's a precarious climb to get up inside the boat, but I think it's something that you need to see. Salty dogs will make sarcastic comments and tell you to just run away. But the reality is if you tried to build a boat, if you paid a company for a bare fiberglass hull and then tried to build it custom the way you wanted, well, the fiberglass hull would cost you $50,000 to $75,000 alone.
Somebody
Absolutely.
who wanted a really well-built fiberglass hull,
It's a good,
full
strong,
keel,
thick hull.
basically displacement hull that you could then kind of rebuild the rest of the boat from that hull. If you were to buy that hull,
Right.
you couldn't afford that.
I think it would make
yeah.
a great motor sail.
I do think it would make a great motor sail.
Even
I think
if you
it's a
didn't
great
put
idea.
mast on it.
Sure, if you
it'd
made
be-
some type of
Absolutely.
displacement trawler out of it.
Yeah.
We were talking, it draws like 4.5 feet or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And they're very well-known boats,
Right.
very well regarded, and they
Right.
command quite a following. What'd you say?
I'm good at tearing stuff apart.
Yeah, a lot of people when they're doing boat restorations, right?
Yeah.
They're eager to take things apart. It happens for
right.
people doing cars, motorcycles, airplanes. It's easy to take things apart, and you feel like you're really accomplishing something.
Uh-huh.
But if you don't plan ahead, and if you don't have a plan, then all of a sudden you got like pieces of a car or a boat or a plane.
Where does this go?
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, like, you have to do some exploratory, like pulling stuff away, probing the deck to see what's going on.
Right.
The more and more you tear off, that's where these big holes came from on the side, right? You were saying you started peeling it back to see, well, how far does this go? And I've done the same thing on my boat restorations, where I start pulling on a bulkhead, and before you know it, it's nothing but scraps and shards of
that's what I ended
plywood
up
on the ground.
doing on the deck. I was going to do a little piece at a time, but then
you realize
so
it's just so big. Yeah.
If I pull it all off, then I just got to dispose of it once.
Yeah.
And you see the bones, what you got to do.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah, unfortunately, when it gets to this stage, the only way to do it is go straight to the bare hull, to the fiberglass,
Absolutely.
and then start from scratch, because you can't keep you can't keep anything that's contaminated. I don't know that you could even keep the pilot house, but the nice thing is you could definitely use it for patterns. You could recreate this using new materials, better materials, and modify it however you want to do. You got like a total guide on how to do it.
Right.
I just want to take a moment and say, if you enjoy this channel, if you get what I'm doing at MotorCity Boat Works, do me a favor and subscribe, hit the like button, and spread the word about MotorCity Boat Works. This channel would not be possible without your support. Thank you. Let me ask you, when you come out here and you see it like this, does it break your heart?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Absolutely.
It's very fashionable on YouTube today to restore a hurricane-damaged catamaran, to restore a derelict boat by the river. I know it's enticing. That's why I created my channel and I built MotorCity Boat Works. You gotta have a plan. You better think ahead. We were talking earlier and you said that basically the reason it got to this stage was once the overhead cover came down due to weather, age, or whatever, it became too difficult to get up here to clean it.
For me.
For you. And it is, I gotta tell you, it's kind of a little bit precarious up here.
The deck, walking around on the deck is bad.
Yeah, because you don't know what's
what. Up here on the top of the pilot house.
Yeah, you definitely can't do stuff like that. And we're a ways off the ground. This is a very tall boat on land. And I was asking you, well, how come you didn't clean it up? Like, why? How did it get to this state? And the reason is because it just keeps getting dirty. It just keeps coming back, and it's just
depressing.
It's depressing, and it's more.
Yeah.
And eventually, you kind of like give up on it, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I didn't cover it up all last year. And
it takes a lot of courage to admit, our failures, or when we don't quite, things don't work out the way you wanted. Like you said, investments, whatever. Yeah. And it's sad, but maybe somebody somewhere has a dream of restoring a Nauticat 33. I know I did at different times in my life.
Yeah. I don't know, once you take all this off, I assume you'd have to take the pilot house off.
You'd have to take the pilot house off. You have to do a complete deck redo, and you'd probably also have to do a pilot house. You'd have to do the cabin top here.
Take it right down to the tabs.
Take down the tabs on the fiberglass.
Take everything out of it. Then would it be a Nauticat? I don't know. It'd be a Nauticat.
Well, it would be a Nauticat hull, and that's why this is an interesting project for someone who wants to build like you said, a displacement trawler, a displacement great loop boat.
Absolutely.
A boat that's specifically configured the way you would want it. You have good spaces.
Yeah, I started stripping that all out back there. I was going to make a big berth.
That's what I would think, right. I like these boats, but I don't know that they came with a large berth.
No, they had two small ones.
Two small ones on quarter berths on the side, right.
And there was it actually has a unit, an air conditioner unit there.
You would almost say that this is not for restoration, but yet there's potential if you were interested in using the hull, and there's potential if you were interested in parting it out.
Right.
And but the effort, of moving it is substantial, and kind of dealing with it is a significant job. You'd hate to see it go to the scrap heap.
Yeah,
especially that hull.
With the backhoe, crush it up.
But I don't know what you could do. I would say, just looking at this, I mean, I would pretty much say that any piece of wood on this boat is suspect. You might be able to use it for a pattern. Correct. There might be some rare pieces that you could, some teak or something that you might be able to reuse, handrails and some trim pieces and stuff. But everything else, pretty much 100%, all the wood's got to go. So the question is, like, parts of this are solid.
Yes.
But there's no telling what would not be solid. I mean, right? So you have all this, right? Basically, basically your flat surfaces where the water has pooled or snow or whatever.
But I mean, the bones of the up to here, is good. Up above is good. Outside there, down, gotta be redone. Got a whole weather station in here too.
Yeah. Every horizontal surface is essentially damaged. It's a shame. Very big project here.
Yes. Here's the motor.
That looks pretty good. I gotta tell you, man, I have seen a lot of engines in much worse conditions than that.
Right.
The engine is probably, other than the hull, the best thing on this boat.
I think.
And these engines are not cheap.
No. He loved that. His wife loved that.
These things are awesome, man. Let me tell you, this is in rough shape, but Sigmarine. You have big, generous spaces here that you could design the way you want, or have some ideas from the existing. Yep. This space back here, this is a great size cabin. You have full standing headroom.
Yep.
You just have to, once you take out the interior, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
But, I mean, that's a huge undertaking.
I would make just one big berth back there. A little bit of room right here.
Yeah. Either a double berth to one side or a French bed or something like that. Mm-hmm. We call it French beds. All right, so I'm going down here into the galley, hopefully.
I think the floor is pretty good.
Oh, boy. So is propane stove or diesel? Propane or gas. Propane, but that's a diesel heater out there.
Yes. The refrigerator did work. I'm sure it doesn't now.
Yeah.
The stove all worked. All the stuff worked.
You can see the fiberglass there, and you can see the deck there, and you can see this here. You said there was an air conditioning unit
on that side. Yeah, that big hole.
Oh, this hole right here was the air conditioning unit.
That's when we were living on.
Where did basically, where did this cabin top kind of disintegrate from? Just from water getting in the plywood, and then kind of.
You know how that plywood is.
Yeah. So this is your holding tank here.
Underneath your feet is a holding tank. I believe that is that a holding tank.
Yeah, that's a holding tank right there.
Or is that a water supply tank?
My guess is it's holding because it's got it's got a Y valve on it here. This is going to be, you've got some type of Lexan or
for treatment.
Yeah.
Of sewer.
Right, a treatment system here. I had that on one of my boats.
Okay, and then the water holding tank.
Water holding tank's down here.
Yeah.
Should we pull it up and see? Let's see what it looks like.
It's just a tank. There's nothing to see, really.
Let's see. Can I get this up?
Oh, that's full of water.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, is there water in there?
Yeah. Just the one section.
The hull there?
There, yeah.
The bilge. All right. Going forward here. So you got a head. Yowza. Man. Those are leaves there from the trees. Do you? Which tree is it? The one that's right on off the bow of the boat there, right?
What?
The leaves. That's where they come from.
The one right to the side of it.
Yeah. And this is what, a V berth, quarter berth?
It was.
It looks like, right?
Yeah. What do you want to call
That's
it?
interesting.
Captain's berth or whatever. And then up ahead of that, there was more storage.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone who is thinking about restoring a boat like this, now that you've been kind of through this experience of having the boat, living on the boat, and
It's got to be a labor of love.
Yeah.
And you got to have some resources, although you can stretch that part.
Yeah.
But you have to have the time to do it.
If you're like me and you love these old boats, this episode is a little bittersweet. And I want you to remember that it takes a lot of courage to talk frankly about this type of project. Without a doubt, this boat is a project. And in fact, it's probably not a project for most of us. This type of boat restoration, if you could even call it that, is for someone with some special skills to bring this boat back from its current condition. But nevertheless, let's remember, it's got a great hull. It has a great pedigree. There's a newer Yanmar engine inside of it, as well as some equipment that might be worth it, either for salvage or for repurposing down the road. If this seems like a project that you might be interested in, if you've been searching for a Nauticat 33 to make your own and to customize from a bare hull, well, this might be the project for you. If you're interested in this boat, I'll leave the contact information for the owner in the description for the show. You contact them directly so that you can discuss all the details that have to do with this sailboat. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll be back again soon with more projects from the Boat Werks. In the meantime, check out some of my other episodes. Be sure to get caught up on everything that's going on inside the Boat Werks. I want to thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Stay motivated.